Hello and welcome to Afghanistan News Today. Headline: the most important news of the day from the Afghanistan News Today channel. Kremlin on removing the Islamic Emirate from Russia's blacklist. The spokesperson for the Iranian government emphasized that the return of migrants must be carried out with dignity and respect for human rights. The Ministry of Refugees and Repatriation has announced the release of 14 Afghan citizens from Peshawar prison in Pakistan. The Kremlin has clarified that removing the Islamic Emirate from Russia's blacklist must follow a formal process. Dmitry Peskov, Kremlin's spokesperson, emphasized the importance of maintaining and expanding Russia's relationship with Afghanistan, as reiterated by President Vladimir Putin. Peskov stated, "Of course, developing ties with them, meaning the Afghan government, is very important." The president mentioned that maintaining contact is essential, especially since this country is a neighboring state. These interactions are ongoing. Syed Akbar Syal-Wardek, a political analyst, commented, "The US and the East have entered into a competitive strategy in the region. The Islamic Emirate must maintain a political balance between both sides and proceed wisely with its policies. This is not the first time Russian officials have discussed removing the Islamic Emirate from the blacklist. Previously, during a visit to Kabul, Russia's National Security Council secretary reportedly mentioned that this action might occur soon," Mohammad Aslam Danishmal, another analyst, noted. Now that the US has left the region, Russia and China aim to prevent its re-entry or influence. Aziz Marij, a political expert, added, "They seem to be preparing to remove the Taliban from their blacklist cautiously, adhering to UN principles and taking preparatory steps in advance." Despite remaining on Russia's blacklist, the Islamic Emirate has witnessed increasing diplomatic and economic engagements with Russia over the past 3 years. Russia has also hosted several international conferences focused on Afghanistan. These developments highlight the growing complexity of Afghanistan's geopolitical positioning and Russia's cautious approach to re-evaluating its stance on the new government of Afghanistan. In another report, the spokesperson for the Iranian government emphasized that the return of migrants must be carried out with dignity and respect for human rights. Fatma Mohajerani stated the return of migrants should preserve human dignity and no individual's honor should be disrespected. At the same time, safeguarding national interests remains a top priority for the government. Zakiya, who was recently deported from Iran with her family after 2 years of hardships, described her struggles. "When my husband was deported, I had no choice but to take my children to the camp, turn myself in, and eventually return to Afghanistan." Kandi Gul, another deportee, shared her experience. "There are 6 of us. We had just arrived in Iran, but now we've been deported. We have no home, no livelihood, nothing here." Esanullah Ahmadzuri, a migrant rights advocate. "The UNHCR should collaborate with Afghanistan and Pakistan to establish a joint mechanism. This would ensure that Afghan migrants who are allowed temporary residency in these countries receive the same rights granted to migrants in European nations." The International Organization for Migration (IOM), in a recent report, revealed that between September 15, 2023 and November 15, 2024, a total of 770,964 Afghan migrants were deported from Pakistan. The report also noted that 12,468 Afghan migrants were deported from Pakistan between November 1 and November 15, 2024, marking a 2% increase in deportations. The IOM report stated between September 15, 2023 and November 15, 2024, a total of 770,964 Afghan migrants were deported from Pakistan. Among these, 12,468 individuals were deported between November 1 and November 15, 2024. Meanwhile, the spokesperson for the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan (IEA) announced efforts to provide greater support for returning migrants. Zabihullah Mujahid, the IEA spokesperson, stated, For migrants returning to Afghanistan, the Islamic Emirate is prepared to offer assistance. A dedicated commission has been established and is actively working through 12 committees, particularly at border crossings, to ensure services are provided to those re-entering the country. Previously, the Ministry of Refugees and Repatriations reported the deportation of 150,000 Afghan migrants from Iran, Pakistan, and Turkey. In another report, the Ministry of Refugees and Repatriation has announced the release of 14 Afghan citizens from Peshawar prison in Pakistan. According to the ministry's statement, these individuals had been detained for 3 months due to lacking legal documentation. Meanwhile, several advocates for migrant rights emphasize that the Islamic Emirate should employ active diplomatic engagement, legal and consular support, and international collaboration to secure the release of other Afghan detainees in foreign countries. Ali Raza Karimi, a migrant rights activist, stated, "In recent days, 14 Afghan prisoners were released from Pakistani jails. The Islamic Emirate must utilize active diplomacy, legal and consular support, and the cooperation of international organizations to secure the release of other Afghan prisoners abroad." Asifistan Akzai, another advocate for migrant rights, added, "There is a need for diplomatic discussions to facilitate the release or exchange of those detained in various countries, especially individuals who lack family connections or financial means to hire proper legal representation." Previously, the Ministry of Refugees and Repatriation of the Islamic Emirate reported that 11,000 Afghan migrants are currently imprisoned in Iran and Pakistan. Thanks for being with Afghanistan News Today. Till next latest news. Have a good time. Goodbye.